It's impossible not to be awestruck by the wonder of Florida's ocean waters, mesmerized by the grandeur of its coasts, inspired by the beauty of its bays and estuaries, and captivated, perhaps even a bit intimidated, by the wilderness of what lies inland in the Everglades. What will the future hold for the animals, plants, and people of Florida? Today we are in a crucial moment. Florida's ocean, coasts, and natural places are at a crossroads. The recipe for a healthy ocean and healthy Everglades is straightforward. We must clean the water, fix the flows of our waterways, and send the water south. In talking with my fellow Floridians, I've heard stories of the interconnectedness between the ocean and the Everglades. And I've heard stories of the interconnectedness between Floridians, our communities, and the environment that surrounds us. Across Florida, people are fighting for the future of our ocean and our Everglades.
And you've done a couple of events already.
So tell me a little bit about your connection to Biscayne Bay and this water right here that we're seeing. I mean, you grew up here in South Florida.
Oh, and we would always be so happy to be coming out on the water.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that the new generation, they're cognizant of the environment, but what South Floridian didn't have a boat or knew somebody who had a boat?
Exactly.
And those were your best friends.
Right,
somebody with a boat.
Yeah.
It's like somebody with a pickup truck when you need to move.
That's right.
But everybody loves to come out on the water.
Yeah.
And being on the water just makes you an environmentalist because you see how important it is to our economic future.
Right.
And we've had some scares. We've had a lot of environmental issues and problems, but and this sea level rise is a real problem for Miami because we've built right up to the water. I mean, look at all these buildings.
What do you see for the future specifically of Biscayne Bay? I mean, looking forward 20 years, say. You know, you've got sea level rise, you've got harmful algal blooms, you've got water quality and water abundance issues. You've got the whole suite of issues that come with comprehensive Everglades restoration. So, what's in the future for Biscayne Bay? Is it a rosy future?
I think it is a rosy picture if we are wise about it and if we invest the money now. But if we think that the problem is going to take care of itself, again, it's like maintenance on a boat. If you think that, hey, I'm not going to take care of this problem because I won't go out on it for a couple of months, it's only going to get worse and more expensive. The future is rosy if we spend the dollars to make sure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past, and that we educate the next generation of how to take care of it.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money. That's the only way we're going to get a rosy picture. We want to have a vibrant economy, beautiful beaches, a great Everglades, and wonderful canals. You can't do harm to one and not think that you're not harming the others. So we're all interconnected, and our waterways is what keeps Florida the jewel that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to find hope for the future of Florida, you can find it right in Biscayne Bay in the shadow of Miami. Several of the Everglades restoration projects are happening right along Biscayne Bay. These projects are just one small part of the larger multi-decade and multi-billion-dollar effort. Here we can see Everglades restoration in action firsthand, including how it will benefit the ocean. So we're here today to talk about Biscayne Bay restoration and, the connections between freshwater and marine ecosystems. But if we're talking about marine ecosystems and saltwater, what are we doing so far upland? It feels like we're, practically in the woods here.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, our inshore wetlands are really part of our coastal wetland ecosystem here in South Florida. And unfortunately, we've seen those ecosystems decline over time. And that's due to a number of reasons: urbanization and development here in this region. And really over time, with the channelization of the Everglades, we just saw increased draining and decreased freshwater flow. So we're working with what we got here in South Dade at the Deering Glade Preserve, trying to just restore these little parcels where we can under the Biscayne Bay Coastal Wetlands Project.
Right. So you mentioned that the Deering Glade Preserve that we're at here is not just a restoration project, but it's a rehydration project. Can you go into that a little bit more?
Right, so the idea is that we took this area that was a land mass, and this project has been spearheaded by the South Florida Water Management District, and they acquired the property, which didn't look like this several years ago. This project was completed in 2012, and they were able to take land that was not a wetland and was a coastal wetland previously and rehydrate it back to its former state. So overall, trying to increase the flow of fresh water from the canal system into the bay through this coastal wetland area.
Right. So the water is actually flowing this way, which is northward. Is that right?
Right,
yeah.
right.
So it's kind of making a loop here in a sense.
It's making a loop, and this is a man-made construction, so it's never as good as the real thing, right? So we're really just trying to mimic what Mother Nature originally had here, and that's very challenging to do, but we are starting to see some positive effects. We're starting to see our sawgrass ecosystem come back up. We're starting to see decreases in salinity, so by 9 PSU, I've been told.
Okay.
And those are really great numbers for us, because it's really going to make a difference in the ability of the ecosystem to bounce back and to move more towards that brackish ecosystem that's so important for our recreational and commercial fisheries and the other ecosystems that rely on it.
Unless clean, fresh water can finally return and reach places like Biscayne Bay and Florida Bay, these natural areas will continue to suffer. Clean water isn't just about the fish, dolphins, birds, and manatees. It's about people and our quality of life. It's about whether our communities will have natural places where we can play, raise our families, and enjoy the wonders of the outdoors. It's about keeping alive the heart of the natural Florida that inspires us. The beauty of this place inspires me, but so do its people. We are a diverse community. We come from many places and backgrounds, and when it matters most, we all stand together. We will meet the moment, I'm sure of it. My colleagues and I at Ocean Conservancy believe that, and that's why we work to achieve it every day. If we want to keep the beating heart of Florida alive, we must act.